I'd like to do something different today and the next day, and that is to do a two-part short little videos. One is on the moral implications of James Comey's recent indictment, the former FBI director, and then the legal ramifications. Even though I'm not a lawyer, I thought we could talk about the legal separately from the moral indications. James Comey was indicted by the Trump DOJ on 2 counts. One, he is allegedly had lied under oath to Congress that he had not authorized leaks to the press by FBI subordinates, probably in particular Andrew McCabe, who admittedly lied 4 times, I think 3 times under oath, according to the Inspector General of the DOJ, and a second count that he obstructed by lying to Congress in congressional investigation. But there's larger questions here. James Comey, remember, was the FBI director when he interfered in the 2016 election. He said that Hillary Clinton, the Democratic nominee who was running against Donald Trump, had broken the law by using an unsecure private server in which classified material was transmitted, but he didn't think a jury would convict her, or he didn't think it led to a level of such seriousness. That's not his decision, really. That's the Department of Justice. He's supposed to bring evidence. James Comey, remember also, he met with Donald Trump, and they had a confidential conversation. That's not in dispute. And James Comey assured the President of the United States that he was not the subject of an FBI investigation. That was false. Now, he may not have said that under oath, but he admitted he said that, and so did Donald Trump. They agree on that. So he lied to the President of the United States. And then what did he do? He took that conversation and memorialized it. And then he had 4 memos involving his interactions with the president. He did not, they were recorded on FBI machinery or devices, but he did not file them officially with the FBI. He put them in his private safe as safekeeping or insurance so that he could embarrass the President of the United States if he was ever threatened with firing. And so what did he do? He took one of those memos and gave it to a friend who happened to be a professor at Columbia for the express purpose of leaking it to the New York Times, and then he wouldn't have his fingerprints. So while he is legally charged with this other incident or crime, if he's proven guilty of leaking, he admitted that he leaked information about the President of the United States.
You gave information to a friend so that friend could get that information into the public media.
Correct.
What kind of information was that? What kind of information did you give to a friend?
That the Flynn conversation, that the president had asked me to let the Flynn, I mean, I'm forgetting my exact own words, but the conversation in the Oval Office.
So you didn't consider your memo or your sense of that conversation to be a government document. You considered it to be somehow your own personal document that you could share with the media as you wanted to?
Correct.
Through a friend?
I understood this to be my recollection recorded of my conversation with the president. As a private citizen, I felt free to share that. I thought it very important to get it out.
And he also essentially admitted that he wasn't the object of an investigation when he likely was. In addition to this, he was the one that hired Christopher Steele. Christopher Steele was working for Hillary Clinton through 3 paywalls, through the DNC, through the Perkins Coie law firm, and through Fusion GPS. It's against the law in a presidential federal campaign to hire a foreign national. He was on the payroll of the Clinton effort. He was also a contractor that James Comey hired, and he was the one who compiled this phony dossier. And again, in addition, James Comey was in the room with John Brennan and James Clapper when Barack Obama essentially said to them, both during the campaign, but even after the election of 2016, I don't believe that your subordinate intelligence reports are accurate about not finding actionable Russian collusion. I want you to bring me something, I'm paraphrasing, that would show that Donald Trump was colluding. He also, you remember, he laughed when he said that he sent his FBI team to interview Michael Flynn, but the administration in 2016 during their transition was so inept, so unprepared. They didn't even have a lawyer, so Michael Flynn just welcomed them naively into his office, and he talked to them, and he incriminated himself without counsel. Of course, the FBI people involved felt that he had been honest to them and had not tried to mislead them. What am I getting at? All of these things that James Comey has been responsible for, the Russian collusion hoax, trying to frame Donald Trump, or I don't know what you would call it, by memorializing a conversation and then hiding it from the FBI files and leaking it indirectly to the New York Times, or having anything to do with this scoundrel Christopher Steele, or trying to override intelligence estimates and try to fabricate something else, or giving special treatment to Hillary Clinton. But add it all up, at least morally and ethically, he was bankrupt, absolutely bankrupt. Maybe not in the legal strict sense, or not in, he couldn't be prosecuted in a New York or Washington courtroom and get a guilty verdict from one of those juries, but he is morally culpable.
James Comey wasn't just a flawed leader. He became the embodiment of what happens when law enforcement trades integrity for politics. Victor Davis Hanson shows that Comey's leaks, his protection of Clinton, and his role in the Steele dossier weren't isolated mistakes. They were part of a pattern of deception that damaged America's trust in its own institutions. The tragedy isn't only Comey's fall, but the precedent it set, that those at the top can play by their own rules. Hanson's reminder is clear. Without accountability, justice itself becomes another political weapon. If you value honest analysis and real conversations, make sure to subscribe. Hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. What did we miss, and what should we tackle next? Your voice makes this community stronger. Let's keep pushing for the truth together.